Hey everybody, welcome to Lantern Light Adventures. Tonight we'll be playing the Era of the Dragons, our D&D 5e homebrew game. My name is Archangelic, my pronouns are she, her, and I am going to be the game master tonight. So let us introduce our heroes. We'll start with you, Silver.
Hi, everybody. I am Silver_Bulette here on Twitch as well as over on YouTube. I use he, they pronouns, and I will be playing Fenceris Roxalar, who uses she, her pronouns, and is a dragonborn rogue/cleric.
And Levi.
Hello, I am Levi. Today I shall be playing Torsten Pinewalker, the half-elf armorer artificer. We both use he, they pronouns.
Tara.
Hi, I'm Tara. I use she, her pronouns. And tonight I'm going to be playing Merlin Hendricks, who is a black chromatic dragonborn wizard who uses he, his pronouns.
And Jaden.
Hello, everyone. My name is Soliloquy Jaden. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me everywhere online as Fat Sapphic Bro. I will be playing the tiefling barbarian named Grief. Grief uses he, they pronouns and also uses a combat wheelchair. I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user in real life, and that's why I like to use it in game. The combat wheelchair is designed by Mark Thompson, who you can find on Twitter at the username Mustangs Art. Welcome back to our space here at Lantern Light Adventures. This is home to all of our TTRPG and related content on Twitch. All of our games are also uploaded to our Lantern Light Adventures YouTube channel. There's a link to our link tree in the chat right now, and you can click that and it'll take you to all of our various social media pages so you can follow us everywhere we are. If you want to keep up to date on everything we're doing, feel free to also join our Discord, which is linked in the chat. If you want to play with us or GM for us, you can fill out our TTRPG actual play interest form, which you can find linked in our link tree and in the chat. And once you fill out that form, I will email you back with our TTRPG consent form, and then we can match you with games from there. Thanks for joining us for Era of the Dragons, our D&D 5e actual play. We stream this game most Sundays, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. PST. We typically take the last weekend of the month off to work on editing and producing more content for y'all. So we don't usually stream the Era of the Dragons game on the last Sunday of each month. As for where you can find us the rest of the week, on most Mondays from 3 to 6 p.m. PST, Archangelic, our lovely producer Polygeist, and myself have been streaming our playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. If you'd like to play with us as a guest, reach out to me anytime. Otherwise, feel free to come hang out with us while we play. We've had a bit of a breather the last few weeks, a little bit of a break, but we should be back tomorrow. So every Tuesday from 6 to 9 p.m. PST, we stream an Empty Dream, our Girl by Moonlight game. We also record an audio cast after show where we go over advancement and debrief from the game. You can listen to this for free on our Patreon at patreon.com/lanternlightadventures. These after shows will always be free, but we appreciate any contributions so we can keep bringing you awesome queer content. Also, keep an eye out over the next few days as we will be sending out a casting call for our new game that we will be playing, hopefully, starting in May. So keep an eye out for that. And finally, in support of Palestine, there will be a donation link on our Twitch page to donate to Doctors Without Borders. We hope that you will donate whatever you're able as we remain in solidarity for a free Palestine. Thanks.
Thank you so much for those announcements. So we will begin with our adventure. Fresh off an operation to break up a smuggling operation ran by the Cult of the Dragons known as the Restoration, which was by most measures successful, you reported back to Senator Lucelle, or as you better know him, Rami. All the clues you gathered led you to the next leg of this operation being in Winter's Keep by way of Iceport. The lizard folk who are helping the cultists agreed to take over the sailing operations and escort you all north. After gathering your things, you set sail on a 3-day journey. On the second day, the ocean roiled and you are beset upon by a sea serpent, knocked around and taking some hits. You managed to fight it off before it slinked back into the inky depths. You are now on the ship, and it is the final day of sailing. Is there anything y'all want to do?
Merlin would like to cast his eyes outward at the atmosphere and the environment in which we are encapsulated in and feel longingly for the next time we're on land.
Yeah. So actually, if you are going to like sit on the ship and look outwards, give me a perception check.
One moment. 16.
16. Um, you notice that the ship is now taking a little bit of a closer course towards the shoreline as it is approaching north in Iceport. Um, but instead of seeing, like rolling hills or harbors or things like that, you see nothing but a like in the far distance, you see just a cliff, almost just like a line along the shore. And like at this distance, it seems small, but logically know that those have to be incredibly high to be as prominent as they are as far as you can see them.
Hmm. My. Merlin scratches his chin and is excited for the next moments to come, whatever that may entail.
Does Grief have any books or anything that he has been going through in regards to trying to figure out the portal situation?
You would have some books. I know that way back at the very beginning, Afe gave you who was kind of your patron and everything, did give you some books that she had gotten her hands on.
Okay, I'd probably spend a little bit of downtime reading through those.
Okay. Give me an arcana check.
21, non-nat.
21. And so you were given basically a treatise on the it's a treatise on the spell gate, which is a high level, very high level spell. It does not contain as wizardry and things like that. It's kind of you have to figure out how to channel the magic yourself. So it's not a guide on how to cast it necessarily. It doesn't have like full sigils. It just breaks down the core concepts of what you're looking into. And part of it you come across is that you have to you have to build as part of gate, build an intention. And intention isn't just like a thought, it's not a mindset. It can be objects from that place, objects that are syncretic to that place, like kind of an effigy of a place you're trying to get to. And it's most of the book goes into this, and this is it's more esoteric than most wizardry gets into because it traveling the planes is incredibly hard even for a wizard. So as you're reading this, what are you thinking about? What is Grief trying to grasp onto?
I think Grief is hoping to find a way to either. So Grief is unsure as to whether or not his wife and young child died or were taken in an attack. And so I think that they're trying to figure out, one, are they no longer alive, in which case this becomes a different sort of problem. And then if they are alive, is there a way to go back enough to intervene the way that he feels like he was supposed to? Because he feels like he failed in his objective of keeping them safe.
Um, yeah, this is more of a manual and a treatise than it is, giving you answers about it, but you you start building upon that knowledge of that this kind of thing is possible. Like if they were taken, they weren't taken. It's not like they were taken in front of you. They just disappeared that day. At least that's what you think happened. It's all hazy things, but that's been the kind of thing you've been working with, that you don't think they were like trafficked from there. They were just gone. And you didn't see their bodies on that day either. So,
Right. Okay.
but you start gathering, you see more symbols, you touch the chest plate, and you think about them. What's everyone else up to?
I think we see both of these kind of in montage with Torsten simply doing the last bit of repairs on the ship from the attack. It's kind of uh making sure that the ship is in ship shape, and doing the last little bit of upkeep for this final leg of it.
Yeah, you and Three Thumbs have worked out kind of a shorthand in your short time here with the little bit of Draconic that you know, um and the very, very, very little bit of Common that they know. And you've kind of worked it out. And those who speak Draconic as Dragonborn, you know that they speak like a dialect of Draconic. They don't speak, So even for you, it's a little weird to communicate with these lizard folk. And then they don't so something that you would notice as you're working with them is that Three Thumbs is more than happy to just patch the ship so it doesn't sink. And how does that make you feel as like an artificer?
I think there's a point where he will attempt to explain the like. I think he will attempt to explain the like the long term benefits of act of the full repair. Like tries to figure out the term like investing time, which doesn't quite translate. Uh, which is like a little bit above his knowledge level.
Mm-hmm.
So there is this kind of struggle of like, all right, if you do the hard thing now, it will pay off later because you are doing less work in the interim.
Three Thumbs will tell you, they'll tell you, in Hovel, you fix now and build later.
Interesting.
Maybe ship is not Hovel.
No, ship take more work than Hovel. More wear, more tear. So build first, so you fix little.
Yeah, and you kind of get this understanding of like, hey, we just need to put more time into this. And you go ahead and just give me an intelligence check of some sort.
Okay. Yeah, I can't think of...
Intelligence is your spellcasting modifier, right? Forget.
Correct.
Cool.
Let's see. Intelligence.
Investigation.
Uh,
Oh, just straight up intelligence.
yeah, 21 with a flat roll.
Oh yeah, 21. Yeah, basically, like, you're not a ship's carpenter by trade, and neither really is Three Thumbs. Just they're handy, in as much as they have use of most of one hand, and
We're
but
both
like,
working on cultural osmosis.
yeah, exactly. Eventually you get a new way of building ships, and it's just going to be for the call of destiny. Like,
Amazing.
So if we take this one piece of the ship and put it on this other piece of the ship, that piece will stay together longer.
But if
It's
we
ship of
take...
Theseus, except just transferring parts.
Yeah, exactly. Ship of Theseus, but there is no other ship, no new parts or new crew.
Three Fingers will say in Draconic to Fen, who I imagine is kind of helping like a little bit in between. We'll say they use all good hardwood on wardrobe. We don't need wardrobe. We need ship.
Yeah,
And like
no,
he's
that makes
bringing these
sense.
like finely like chiseled out pieces and like scraping part of the like this fine craftsmanship to like make it a straight board and putting it in places.
Hmm. That makes sense. I will say though, if you want to keep some of the fine crafting, that can like create a nice little look on the in the exterior of the ship, which I mean, obviously you don't need, but it like lends your ship a hint of class when you come into port.
Maybe we put shapes, ward off evil.
Yeah.
Show confidence to potential customers.
Hey, We could use that. That's for sure.
Mhm.
we learned nothing.
Mhm.
Speaking of it, it's been an evening, right? We should have taken a long rest
Yes,
since
take a
getting
long rest.
beat up. All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
First time ever, I'm looking at 8 hit points, and I'm like, what the? Hold
That's not great.
on.
Grief, give me a constitution saving throw.
That's a nat one.
All right. As you're spending time, and the reason you've been spending time thinking about this and looking at this book is because your dreams, and normally you have that feeling of the like you feel the morning dew, you sense all these things, you run as fast as you can, and the dream tonight, you you reach you crest the hill and you see them, and you see Ramirez with red wings, red draconic wings in your dream, grabbing grabbing your child and fighting with your wife. And the dream ends there. You wake up in a cold sweat as you take a point of exhaustion, a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
So yeah, the day carries on, and Crest will come, and um as much as they as much as the lizard folk are probably not the best at like building ships, running a ship, um you find that they have this very innate sense of direction. um they navigate Dead Reckoning in a way that like would rival even the most seasoned sailors. And so without even like, they barely consult the charts, they feel the waves, they look at the sky, and Crest will give the order to start, will turn the ship towards port. And you see these cliffs off the on the coast just come ever closer. The sails get pulled in as you um make your way into Iceport, and as you enter the city, the Call of Destiny, um smaller rowing ships will come up to the ship and kind of guide you into these nest of like docks and various rocks and everything in this harbor. But what you see before you is an inlet 5 miles wide at its entrance. Cliff faces soar 15 feet high up into the air, snow and ice clinging to the faces. The fjord before you goes miles inland before you can no longer see. You first notice that there are buildings set into these forts from top to bottom. Great cranes and pulleys take cargo from the docks and heave them upwards to the highest parts of the city of Iceport. You look out amongst the people of this place and see that it's a mix of giant folk of all ages, though you see the occasional human or dwarf here and there. There are a few shouts of words, but you hear various whistles and calls that echo off the fjord walls. It's almost like another language is spoken in this place to those across from either side of this fjord. Welcome to Iceport.
Are we seeing any signs of the Dragon Cult symbols? And I know there's a few different ones that we've seen so far, but are we seeing anything label-wise?
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right. Woo! That was a big old 6.
You do not see anyone who is openly wearing the symbol. You don't see it anywhere.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Crest will tell you, dragons are touchy subject up here.
Oh, it's good to know. Uh, so careful how we approach it.
Yes. When we brought cargo here, it was quiet, hush hush.
Hmm. Makes sense. Okay. Thank you. We appreciate that. I know we told you this much money, but which I don't remember what the money was we negotiated. Maybe it was
Basically,
nothing. Maybe it was just a deal.
um, they basically are operating off the spoils of whatever was left at the warehouse.
Fair enough.
They're using that as their startup capital.
I'm still gonna hand him 10 gold out of my coffers and just say, hey, thank you for safe passage. We appreciate it. Fair winds and following sails to you.
Thank you. May your hovel be full of fish.
And also with you.
They'll start like they have some goods that they're gonna offload here, and they've apparently already planned out to do some commerce while they're here. So they're gonna begin unloading that. They will take, in fact, like you see Crust takes the gold and goes over to like this half giant man and just gives the gold over to pay for some more workers to come unload the ship.
That works.
That's the economy.
Yep. Keeping that money mobile. It's the way it goes. It's got high velocity economics.
Yeah. Now, based on Iceport here, do I get the sense that it's fairly safe in terms of how ports that I've seen elsewhere? Does it seem kind of rough? What are we looking at for this port?
Give me an insight check.
All right. Yeah. That's a better roll. It's only still +1. 16.
16. If you were going to guess at safety, so you're looking at this and there's basically kind of three tiers to the city. There is the lower tiers where there are workers, dock workers, the ocean spray it gives everything a different feel here. There are like barnacles growing in on most of the buildings down at the lower parts. And you imagine that's probably where, you might want to keep your purse close to you. But as that's, it's a little more rough and tumble. Not that it's, unsafe, but it's, if it was going to happen, it's more likely to happen there, Then
Gotcha.
there's kind of the middle level where there's like more of your taverns, inns, there's some homes, shops. You see that everything's kind of tight to these cliff faces. And so there's kind of just these rows of like open markets on the side. And on the inner portion are the various like ramps and pulleys and lifts that get people up and down. And then you see at the topmost seem to be the most expensive homes, larger homes, maybe family homes. You're not sure quite how things work here, as like I said, it's mostly half giant. But there's kind of larger dwellings that seem better upkeep. The light from the sun seems to shine up there a little bit more where it doesn't reach as low into the fjord.
Oh, should not have looked up that way. Ow. Okay. Fen is gonna do something she hasn't done since she got this. She's gonna pull out the professor orb and say, I think we probably need to remain a little quiet, but are you ready to learn?
Are you asking the orb?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very ready.
All right. Stay close to me, okay?
Okay. And it floats with its own mage hand.
Then
And
Fen is gonna, oh gosh. I mean, look, gather the party together once we get onto the dock, I suppose. And say, all right. So first of all, this is in your heads. The three thumbs. No, talk to me. Claw. Anyway, you don't mention dragons necessarily. Just a heads up. that's a touchy subject. I think it's going to be more keeping an eye out for symbols. But we do need to figure out where the goods are going here.
Stands to reason that they take the path of least resistance to Winter's Crest. So probably just see if we could find a map, or else fails figure out a guided situation. Uh, See what the most common routes are and what the more discreet routes would be.
All right. So let me get a map first and see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we want to secure a room or anything.
Possibly. What time of day are we looking at right now?
I would say it's probably mid-afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Grief, we've lost most of the day of traveling, so we'll probably want to stay here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't mind a bite to eat either.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, if you somebody overhears you, like one of the workers, like, are y'all kind of down at the docks still?
Yeah, I think so.
One of the workers hears you and says, up in mid-tier, there is several taverns. I like the fish head. It's my favorite.
Fish
All
head.
right.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. You all stay safe.
Oh, thank you. You too. Fish head.
Fish
Which it
head.
is.
Fish
All
head.
right.
Um, you start to make your way up, and there are two ways to make your way around the city. There are various crisscrossing kind of footpaths that like take your way up. It'll take longer, but there's people who operate these kind of like there's like the cranes for cargo and everything, but there's people who also operate pulleys and everything as kind of like elevators. They lifts to take you from places, but um you're kind of observing how people are moving about here, and you see that coin is exchanged to use these lifts, even the which is the faster way. But most people just take these ramps and make their way up.
I mean, we have plenty of joint coin.
Some kind of people mover.
Really is the world of tomorrow, isn't it? It's amazing.
Future is now.
Let's get a price on that.
You'll see that there's this probably teenager, half giant. He's got like kind of scruffy long hair, no beard to speak of, kind of a weak chin, and he says, 3 silver, 3 silver, take you straight to the top, 3 silver.
Yep, that's fine. Grief will hand over enough for the party.
All right. And you see that like he kind of gets in this lift with you and like climbs, like it's like 8 feet tall, this like wooden cage that has basically been built. And he kind of climbs to the top of it and starts pulling on the rope and like lets his body weight get the initial like lift up. And you see that there's like probably counterweights up higher. Um and he's just pulling, and as he's pulling, he's like, so what brings you to Iceport?
Uh,
Uh,
Mostly business. Uh, Mostly courier business.
Oh, courier business. Then now that's interesting. Most people are just, there's some fishermen, some people bring fish from other places. That's always fun. So yeah, I'm guessing courier, this isn't your final destination.
Nope. Headed to Winter's Crests. Uh, got a few messages to send directly.
You mean Winter's Keep?
Oh, Winter's Keep, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, you got quite, that's quite a journey.
Yeah, no anywhere where we could get a map of the region.
Yeah, I mean, you can ask around in the market, see if anyone has a map, but I'm just going to tell you right now, most of that map is going to be blank.
Mm.
It's
oh,
kind of like we live in the fjords, but most people live here in the fjords. There's a few others, but this is the largest one. Up top, pretty desolate, pretty frozen.
Mm.
Interesting.
Uh,
But you could take a snowhound.
Oh yeah.
Snowhound, you
That's-
say?
hmm.
Tell me more.
Oh, there's they raise them up top. Um, basically like they're like really big dogs. Um, most people raise them for like a race, racing, but some people use them to move goods between places.
Mm.
I see.
Test.
Is anyone else concerned about this kid's safety up there, or is it just me?
Yeah, it's
I'm
just,
sure.
go ahead.
I'm sure that there's some sort of like harness, kind of safety belt. Kind of like looks up. No, he just standing there.
Barefoot. And it's pretty cold here. Like
Oh,
you look up and you see his little toes are kind of like gripping onto parts of the.
if there's any regulation for this, that cannot be up to code.
What's the
And
code?
Oh no, this was all in
Oh.
like in the head communication.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm. Yeah, for the pod, I was doing the Jean Grey finger forehead.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, out of curiosity, do you work with a group, or is this a just a singular business for you?
I operate this lift. My brothers operate most of the rest of them. It's kind of a family thing.
Okay, family business. Got it. Um, do you and your brothers have like safety measures to protect y'all?
Um, well, and I mean, don't look down. It freaks people out, but it's just water down there. We're pretty good swimmers.
Uh, okay, that kind of allies the concerns.
Okay. Yeah.
You just got to remember to tuck your arms and keep your legs straight.
Okay. All right.
But I would suggest like not as high of a cliff, for your first time.
Oh no, I don't want to take over your business by any means. Hey, I want you all to flourish and succeed. I just want to make sure you you're safe up there. I mean, have you and your brothers considered harnesses at all? Is that a thing that your family could invest in?
What What do you mean? I mean, like I could tie a rope and maybe like, but then I'd be dangling off of it. It'd be a little harder to get back on. Like,
Oh
How
yeah,
many
no,
times have
I'm
you
thinking
fallen out?
le like a basically a much shorter rope. One that would like even if you fell, you stayed basically on top of this thing. Like a very short rope. And then like rather than just being tied around your waist for your safety, it might be tied like multiple joints, like around your arms, around your legs. Uh, yeah, a whole because if it's just tied around one point, that can create a serious problem where it just like pulls at you and that can break some bones. So what you want to do is have multiple points there. It's just an idea that I'm spitballing here.
well, I'll definitely consider it, but I've never fallen off. But born and raised on the cliffs, so.
Nah, fair enough. Okay.
But that's why we keep you safe inside. We're the
But
experts.
appreciate it.
Well, and like eventually, like comes to like one of this middle levels, which is like you can smell all the food being cooked here. And it's just like this row against the cliff of like various kitchens and stands and everything. And he said, "Well, here's your stop."
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah,
I guess
Torsten will hop up, and thanks for the snowhound tip, really helpful. And then we'll like slide 3 silver into his hand.
Much appreciated, sir.
and know it's not gonna get you all the way there, but here's another gold so you and your brothers can look into a harness system. Again, safety comes first, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe for you.
Fair enough. I mean, spend it where you need to spend it, but you know,
Well, it's much appreciated either way. Thank you for looking out for us. My name's Bo, and if you need me, I'll be at the bottom.
all
And
right.
he kind of
Thanks,
like
Bo.
lets the rope go, and it like kind of slides down really fast.
Oh,
And you watch him go down, and like eventually he'll grab the rope, and it like pulls him upward.
ah,
Like
ah.
he doesn't slide along it, like he grabs it as it goes on to kind of like break it, and it like pulls him upward, and then it kind of balances out as he gets towards the bottom.
Ah. And he wasn't wearing gloves. Oh, jeez. Ah,
I imagine he's worked up some good calluses by now.
Mm-hmm.
one would hope. Ah, how?
Yeah, and it's like it's a very very warm like 15 to 20 degrees outside, and he's just like he's basically in a tank top.
A little bit of anatomy difference, a little bit of acclimation.
Yeah, yeah, that'll happen. All right. Let's see what the fish head smells like before we go in.
um you make your way down, and you basically like there's signs all along this place, and you see the one that they're talking about, and it's just a fish head. The fish's face is pointing down, so it's kind of this triangular shape. um and it is what it says. It's the head of a fish. And as you get towards the door, give me perception checks all around.
Ooh, 20. Not a nat.
15.
Big old
16.
7.
16.
16. Okay. um I will say that, oh, I forgot what, I'll say that everyone but Torsten.
Mm-hmm.
You hear way down inland in the ford, you start hearing like bells and wind chimes, of various like notes and everything. And like a wave coming towards you, you hear more of these sounds. And then you feel the wind start to blow through this fjord. And this very large half giant man will come out of the fish head, grab all of you, and say, "You should probably get indoors." And he will like kind of bring you indoors.
What? What?
And like he pulls like the door shut in this place, and like you can feel like you can see that he's like struggling against it as wind just pours through this whole fjord.
Oh no, Bo's gonna be in serious trouble. Oh boy.
Oh no, he'll be fine. He probably heard those chimes before you did.
Oh, okay. That's good. Do you need help bracing?
No, no, I got this.
Okay.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
All right.
And there's so it's a pretty small tavern. There's probably like maybe 5 tables total. And this man is wearing like he's wearing like a canvas apron. He No beard, completely shaved head, and they all have this like kind of gray skin, and there's no pupils or anything on the eyes. It's completely just white. And the wind will die down. He'll let the door. He'll like kind of kick a rock out of the establishment to kind of keep the door open. And he says, "There's just a handful of people in here." He says, "Well, what can I help you folks with?"
Well, we were looking for some food. Uh, and I mean, is this just a bar, food establishment, or is there an inn here?
Oh yeah, there's an inn. You got to climb up the ladder at the back, and it takes you right up to some extra rooms I have.
Hmm. Okay. All right.
And yes, of course I can make you food. Kitchen, kitchen's right back through there. It's things. People from other places tell me that like your homes are like spread out side to side. We're kind of top to bottom here.
Huh.
It confuses some folks, so I explained to you.
I appreciate the explanation. Yeah, I mean, like when you only have so much space on a fjord, that makes sense to go vertical.
Yeah, precisely. And of course, like I can points to grief. We can help you down. I can even talk to Joe about making an exception for your fees to move up and down the levels.
Thanks. I think the specs on the wheelchair, I know that it can go like up and down stairs on its own, so I don't know to what extent that
Yeah,
goes.
and you're strapped into it. So I know that your character can easily just probably like climb stairs and
Yeah.
things like ladders and things like that, but he doesn't know that. So
For sure.
he says, I could make you are any of you a vegetarian?
Merlin
Yep.
chuckles and shakes his head.
Nope.
I mean, I'll eat vegetarian food if that's what you got, but nope.
Well, it was just going to complicate matters. That's all. Happy
Ah,
to accommodate. But oh, sorry, I did not introduce myself. My name is Benny.
Benny, good to meet you. I'm Fen.
Pleased to meet you.
Torsten.
Welcome to Iceport. Welcome to the Fish Head.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, I can. We have various types of meat here. We have lobster. We have some shark. We have a catfish. We also have a local delicacy. If you are interested.
Hmm. I
Lobster
mean,
sounds good.
I haven't had catfish in a while. That sounds like the way to go for me.
Yeah, it's been a minute myself. So I'll do the same.
I think I will also go with lobster.
And he says, "All right, 2 lobsters, 2 catfish. I'll bring you some ale. All told, 5 silver.
No problem.
And of course, let me know when you're ready to retire to a room, and we can discuss the room." Um,
Of course.
as he goes back and prepares, and as things are cooking, he will bring someone else's food out, and you see that the other like giant folk in here, it seems like a family, like has a small child. Excuse me, sorry. Um, and they brought out like this very large fish that is just encrusted in salt, and they all dig into it. They like pull the salt off and just like eat it, kind of with their hands, just kind of pull pieces off and eat it. But food is brought out. The lobster is brought out. The entirety of the lobster is served to you, kind of cracked in the middle and served. And the catfish is it's actually breaded and served with it's not potatoes, but you think it's some sort of starchy root vegetable.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. I dig
So
this. Not used to the breadedness, but hey, that's good. I like it.
I find it tastes better.
Hmm. Yeah, I like it. Thank you.
So what?
Is that the delicacy? Is that the local delicacy over there that I see the family
Yes.
eating?
Yes. Yeah, that's well, we have a name for it, but it's a name in giant. But roughly translated, it's salted fish.
Ah, that tracks. That makes sense. Um, hmm.
If you
What
don't
sort
have,
of
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what sort of odor came into the room when they brought in the salted fish? Out of
Well,
curiosity, was it particularly pungent?
It wasn't. It wasn't particularly. I mean, it smells very strongly of fish, but it doesn't smell like bad in any way. If you're
Okay,
used to eating fish, this is probably just normal. But
for sure.
yeah,
I was wondering if it was the tradition of burying fish for a month and then burying it with salt so it doesn't go too bad.
yeah. I guess you would get the impression that they probably don't. Like they're on a rocky cliff face. Burying something's probably not something they're going to be interested in. But
That's fair.
preserving things in this kind of wet environment is probably ideal. So, hence the salted fish.
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
But
Big
it is
bacalhau energy,
yeah, it's bacalhau.
which is a Portuguese salted cod.
Ah,
Yeah. If your palate's not used to it, it's a little funny to watch. So I always ask and just see.
uh,
What brings such a interesting group to our humble little port?
We're carrying a few messages to Winter's Keep.
Ah, going to where the other humans are.
Yes, we have a few people to find, a few messages to deliver. Um, Bo actually, he recommend that we rent out a snowhound. Deb to know where that would be.
Oh yes, the snowhounds. Wonderful creatures. Basically, if you go all the way to the top, you have to go to the other side. Go all the way to the top. Um, yeah, go to the other side of the fjord. Go up to the top. Um, there's a dwarf man. Names oh, what did he call himself? He says some word in giant. Do any of you speak giant?
no, not me, says I.
Nope.
I think he goes by like what's the word in common? Beast, something like that. Don't remember. But he's a kind man. Comes down this way sometimes.
All right, much obliged.
Right. Wonderful. Appreciate it. We'll probably let's set up a room now, and we'll probably do a little shopping and come back for the night.
Okay, yeah. Room is going to be 4 silver.
No problem.
The digs aren't as great as maybe some lodging up in the higher tiers, but it'll work for you.
All we need.
I mean, we just spent days sleeping on a ship, so probably more comfortable than that.
Yeah, at least it's not moving. I was never meant to be on a ship. Cliffs are my home.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think I get a little bit of the queasy stomach myself. That's
Yeah, I mean, most most giant folk were kind of meant for the sea. Our stories go back many generations of being sailors and explorers, but not for me. I'd rather make the salted fish, serve beer, and talk to people.
Does
yeah.
it still feel like your guys like does the rest of you still feel like we're moving? Because I still feel like we're moving.
A bit, yeah.
Eh,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably gonna feel like that for a day or two. Like, how long were you on the ship?
How many days was it?
3 days.
3 days.
I think it was.
3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as bad. 3 days is not too bad. Some people basically never get used to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's not quite the same. I mean, like there are altitude adjustments and then there's boat adjustments. They're each their own level of fun, let's say.
Also, things just come up out of the water. Just right up out of the water.
Now,
Yeah,
what do
that
you
was
mean
special.
by that?
Oh, we got attacked by a really, really, really giant snake-like thing.
Yeah. Some sort of big sea snake.
Oh, you got beset upon. Oh, again, common, not my first language, so bear with me. Uh, you got accosted by the bitch of the deep.
That, that name would
You
fit.
know what? That does seem to be an appropriate name.
Many legends, been around for centuries. I mean, like, and he'll point to like to some art on the wall, and there's like a depiction of like a sea serpent wrapped around a ship, breaking it in half.
Yeah, basically.
Tales of many warriors dying, getting frozen and falling to the bottom of the ocean. Legends say their bodies are preserved forever, and one day will rise up as a great army.
I sure hope not.
Well,
I mean,
that's giant end of the world things, but
Mm.
Just keep the necromancers away.
that's a good call.
Some musicians would certain musicians would really love that in their banners.
um, legitimate question. I don't mean to insult the legends. I'm curious. When they say that they're going to rise up, is it in a way that is respected and beneficial, or is it like a terrible thing that they are rising up?
Oh, well, I mean, the end of the world is a kind of a terrible thing to begin with. So once you set
That
that
makes sense.
aside, it's like a triumphant afterlife kind of noble death kind of situation.
Ah, okay, all right.
The god of
I'm
the
when I'm
god
not
of
couriering, I'm a historian by trade, so these sort of things that interest me.
yeah, the god of the dead, Wergen, will lead them into a great battle.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I've heard similar tales from other factions. So, yeah, interesting. Fenn starts making some notes.
Is Sylvia still floating there? The professor orb?
Yeah, I didn't put Sylvia away.
She says, now that's super interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
She's trying to be quiet. Like she's just like trying to talk to Fen.
I like that they're just having a little bonding moment over there. Fascinating, fascinating.
No, no.
As so as you get settled in and you we go into the next part of this, we should go ahead and take our break. So we'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes with more adventure. See y'all soon. Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you had a good break. So last we left off, y'all are in the tavern known as the Fish Head, and you just got a little bit of a story about the sea serpent, the bitch of the deep, and some end of the world lore from the giant folk. Um, what would you like to do now?
Uh, Torsten will probably just follow the directions he got for the dwarven snowhound trainer.
Yeah, we want to go see the train, and we also should probably see if there's a map somewhere around. Somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. As you go out into the market, you're looking for a map. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Everybody or just somebody?
Whoever's gonna look for a map.
Well, Finn is definitely looking for a map,
Mhm.
and I just rolled a 28.
28.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Not that 20, by the way.
You look up and down for someone who deals in like books and maps and things. Ultimately you come to someone who actually has a lot of spices, which is not a very common thing here. Um right, and it's a human woman, and she has kind of like a kind of dark tan skin, long black hair, um kind of just keeps it down. Um and she will say, Oh, you're looking for a map? I don't really have a map like going too much inwards. Um, that's not really like what I came here to do. Uh, and it, honestly, like talking to people, it's not really a good idea to go too much inward if you don't know what you're doing. Um, but I do have like a whole map of like the coastline up and down. I have a relative, you said, like, are you looking for someplace in particular?
Yes. And I will say the name of the place we're trying to get to.
Winter's Keep.
Winter's Keep. Thank you. Yeah, now that was not
Uh,
in my head.
Winter's Keep. Yeah, I don't have like kind of, it's a little spotty between here and Winter's Keep as far as like accurate maps go, but I do have this one and she'll pull it out um and it seems like it's kind of an older map. It's like tattered at the edges. Um there's a little bit like of an older common dialect on it. And
Hmm.
now it shows some of the like mountains and things that are in between here and there. I'm not sure on the scale. But this
Hmm.
is one of the only maps of like Northern Reach that I have gotten access to.
Gotcha. How much are you asking for it?
Oh, this map, I could part with it 25 gold.
Uh, okay. Okay. Well, what kind of spices you selling?
Well, I have a small amount of saffron. I have a lot of turmeric, cinnamon. I have these things don't sell well here. What sells the best is the various kind of salts. People really like their salt here.
Yeah, they're probably big on preserving things, although, I mean, it's cold as well, so I'm not. All right, man.
This
Uh,
I have one type of salt that tastes exactly like eggs. It's really popular here.
yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, 25 gold. How much? Sorry, you said turmeric, and what was the other one? You said saffron?
I have a small amount of saffron.
Hmm. Well, take some saffron, some turmeric, and this map.
Okay. Um,
And a
all
little bit of
in.
the weird egg salt.
Yeah, and yeah, she'll open like this basket of like this black salt that smells like slightly sulfuric when she opens it.
Do
Wish gift was here.
it.
Right? Yeah. um yeah, she said, "Oh, all that together, I could do it all together 50 gold."
Wow. Okay.
The saffron in particular is driving up your price here. Um
Okay. Maybe
it,
we leave out the saffron then.
yeah,
Uh,
you have to hand pick these things. And
oh, gotcha. Okay, we'll leave out the saffron, but we'll take the turmeric, and
all right. Yeah, I can do that. 30 gold.
All right,
okay.
I'll pass that over.
Pleasure doing business with you. Keep warm.
Thank you. You as well.
You said
Any
30?
30. Mhm.
Okay.
How
there any
much
other
money?
interesting shops around? Oh, sorry, Merlin.
It's okay. How much money do we have?
So now 2,943 gold, 7 silver, and 9 copper.
So much
Wow.
money.
Are there any other like standout, interesting locations around?
Um, there's actually a lot of things that you've not seen. There are places that specialize in these like really ornate oil lamps. It seems that sailors are always looking for different types of oil lamps. So there's like this tinsmith who makes really elaborate ones that are quite beautiful but functional, and they have like this like gyro kind of thing going for them.
Huh, that'd be useful on the seas. That makes sense. Uh,
There are entire markets dedicated. There's like an entire section of the market just dedicated to various forms of seal pelts. um, for making warm clothing, making small boats and things like that.
Huh. There any like specialized blankets over there?
Yeah, there would definitely be like blankets and coats and things of that kind. Um, there's especially beautiful ones that look like that have this like intricate like spotted pattern on the pelt itself.
Hmm. Uh, well, we're gonna have 4 party members, one more with the dog. How much does it run? Excuse me. How much for one of these blankets?
The blanket, 5 gold.
Okay.
Keep you warm for generations.
Wow. All right. Uh, interesting. I'll 5. I'll take 5 of those. Just-
You have 5 pelts. Um, the I only have one of the spotted ones. I do have
oh, that's
some
okay.
some of the standard ones. That's fine. Okay, yeah, that'll be you said you want 5 of them?
Yeah.
I'll make you a deal. Buy one more and we'll call it good for 25 gold.
Oh, sure, I'll take that. And slide over the 25 gold.
And he's like happy to do business with you. And he like hands you these like clearly like and you see like the operation here, they have them on the racks, scraping them and like preparing them. It's a whole like tanning operation down here. This would be in the like lower section of the city where they would do this kind of work, as they kind of wash it with sea salt and everything as well,
Mm,
with seawater, not sea salt.
gotcha. That makes sense.
They
Uh,
really love their salt.
Yeah, salty people. I mean, this whole place just tastes like salt, as the like the wind and everything. I don't know if you ever lived by the ocean, you just smell salt constantly. Like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'll try. Are y'all along with me? I know Grief was there.
Yes,
Uh,
Merlin
Okay.
is with you.
Torsten would have split. I'm assuming it's gonna take a while for him to actually get to where he wanted to go.
mhm. um, yeah. Is there any? Yeah, we can cut to Torsten. So you kind of split from the rest of the group, and you made your way up. Um, are you taking the lift? Are you getting seeing where Bo is? Or are you kind of walking these like catwalks and various things?
Probably just navigate the catwalks. I just like it makes it almost more sense to him in order to navigate it through the like crisscrossing switchbacks. That's what they're called.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get the impression that like if this place was like just laid out flat, it would be probably one of the largest cities here, but it's all like just stacked on top of each other.
Hmm.
Um, and it gives it this like compact feeling, but like you're walking and it's just like you're walking for miles upwards. Um, and you eventually make your way to the top, and the wind is bitterly cold up here. But you see that there are people who have like this is where like kind of agriculture is done. There are herds of reindeer that are being kept domesticated and kept for food. And there's a whole different vibe up here of like smaller huts with these large pens. Everything's kind of fenced up here. And you kind of navigate your way through and until eventually you do hear like the kind of baying of like hounds of dogs, like these like what sounds like dogs like playing or running, and you catch the first like look at one of these beasts and as large as a dire wolf. Like, have you ever seen a Great Pyrenees dog? Like big dog, big jowls, like um and it's like massive haunches, but like dire wolf sized. So
Oh,
as they are like just leaping in these pens, like, and you can like almost feel the ground like shake a little bit as they're like running around this place. And you see there is a dwarven man. Oh, by the way, we kind of glossed over it, but you have a beard now, right?
Yes. Yeah, one of the days that we traveled, I did successfully roll for beard.
Amazing. Um, so you see a dwarven man just kind of like covered in those kind of like seal pelts that, you know, they're buying down there. Um, he has this long, like braided into like four braids. Um, just long beard, almost as long as he is. Um, he's got like a leather hat on, just kind of wrapped in fur. And he kind of whistles at these dogs, and they all like come up to him and they sit in front of him, easily like dwarfing him in size. Um, as he is a dwarf. But and he's speaking in dwarven to them. I forget what the belt of dwarven kind gives you. I know it gives you some like racial abilities of dwarves.
Yes. I believe it's a constitution boost, the beard thing. Advantage on persuasion checks with dwarves. And yes, I did get dwarfish from it.
Oh, excellent. He's basically like he's saying it in a very stern tone, but he's telling them how good they're behaving. And he's giving each of them like one little piece of meat. And like these things are like easily like as tall as he is above his head. Like
Mhm.
and he's just handing them like meat and like telling them they're all good boys and good girls.
Uh, yeah, they'll just call out uh probably in common. Excuse me.
Hail.
Hi there. I've been told that you're the person to talk to when renting one of these, and then he will say the dwarf word for good dog.
Oh, I hope no one's been spreading rumors about me.
Oh, only good things.
Um, you can call me Bear. I what brings you up to the top side? Not many people come up this way.
Uh, we have to bring some cargo and some messages to Winter's Keep. We were told that renting a snowhound would be useful the way we're going.
Okay. How many in your group?
Four,
Okay.
including myself.
So and he says he says in Dwarvish, do you speak Dwarvish?
Some, yes.
I, I I heard you say something in Dwarvish. I wasn't sure. Like some people know a word or two.
Uh,
Um and he says in Dwarvish to you, he says, well, you have two options. You can get two. You can probably fit two people on each of them. Um, they kind of they tire out a little bit more. Or we can get you set up with the sleigh that the two of them can pull. Gives you a little bit more options for cargo and things like that.
yeah, keeping all of us. I don't know how narrow the rangeways get, but uh, yeah, between that and the supplies, I think two of the sleigh would be efficient.
Two in the sleigh. Okay. Hmm. Have you are you familiar with snowhounds? Have you rode with them before?
Not at all.
Well, they're all trained for long distance. Um, if you are looking for a guide, I am of course available as well.
Hmm.
If that would make the trip easier for you, it can be with it being autumn, the days are getting much shorter, much faster. In fact, probably by this point, it's probably almost dark out. Um, as it would start getting darker, probably like 5 p.m. or so this time of year. Um, and he says, "Look, me and my team can take you to Winter's Keep. Instead of you, I would rather keep the dogs safe and healthy if possible.
Of course. I'm not the one in charge of finances. But if I may ask, what would be your rate per day?
Uh, per diem, I'd have to load up on food. I can probably do the full trip, Winter's Keep and back. 100 gold.
Pretty reasonable. Um,
And of course, that will include provisions for you and your team as well. We'll make sure to pack, and I know what foods can keep. I know what we can hunt on the way.
good, good. Uh, Torsic can actually pay that himself. So if player level, the group's fine with it, he'll just hire Bear as the guide.
Fine by me.
Mhm.
And if you want any of it comped at any point, just let me know.
All right, yeah, no worries. I have plenty. 100 gold, he said.
100 gold. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, it's getting a little late now. Give me. I can probably get provisions done tonight. I can work that out. We'll take Hannah and Ox. Should be a good trip.
Very good.
Now it's very dangerous to go out onto the waste, and I assume like you have good reason for doing so, rather than just chartering one of us to send cargo on our own. So I don't know if you're a superstitious man, but I would, if I were, I would seek the wisdom of Sheila, the the witch of the steppe.
I am very far out of my element, so I will take whatever precautions I can.
The god of death looms heavy in this place. Many die on normal, everyday trips. Storms can come out of nowhere. It's best to seek wisdom and protection from the gods whenever possible. But I know some people aren't superstitious like me, but don't listen to me. I'm just rambling like an old man.
Far from it, you are the local expert, so uh, uh, yeah, just let me know where she is, and I will bring any of my group who is interested.
Yes. And he will point inland to the east. And he says, "There's a lake about a mile that way. Should be frozen. It's fully frozen this time of year. So you can walk straight across it, but her hovel, her home is on the other side of there."
Thank you. When would you do you want us to meet first thing?
Oh, I would say first light, but first light's probably going to be a little too early for us. As long as you're here before, uh, get here as early as you can.
Very good.
It's
And
better to travel with as much light as possible.
he'll nod, and then once the coins exchanged and all that's done, he will head back to the fish head in order to like regroup.
All right. Thorsten, did you go and acquire us some a dog? I guess we were just told about one snowhound.
Yeah. Even better, the gentleman that was mentioned to us, Bear is actually offering his services as a guide. So we'll have an expert mind there and back. I've also, well, he/I have covered food for the trip, so that's all taken care of.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
So guide, no dog.
Absolutely. No, 2 dogs, sled, guide.
Gotcha.
Reasonable rates, reasonable rates.
2 dogs.
2 dogs.
Okay. Well, I got us blankets that should keep us warm out there. I only got 6. So the dogs can share? How big are we talking here?
How
He
how big?
will um he will like move his head to like right at his eyebrow. That big.
Probably can't share. Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
I imagine they're built for this cold.
Eh, I suppose, yeah.
Yes, main factor. I assume Bear will know what's needed. Will
Or
know what
maybe
is
could they come
needed.
with their own little jackets?
Oh yes, I've heard stories about those sled dogs. They're very adorable. Uh, Speaking of stories I've heard, I'm not the superstitious type. Uh, but he did recommend a spiritual consultation with a witch of the steppe were his words. Um, I'm not the it's not quite my speed, but at this rate, I will take the precaution. Uh, so I want to extend this to you lots, um, and Fen. Uh, Apparently, she is in tune with the local god of death, which that's somewhat your style to an
The
extent.
local god of death. Oh, interesting. Huh. It's not necessarily Vegas.
No, weirdly similar name, but that's thought for another time.
Guess I should meet her then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm game, I guess.
Merlin resolves to follow Fen.
Yeah, Grief will follow along just to like kind of stay with the party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You you make your way up top side. As night crests over this place, it is stunningly beautiful. There are so many stars in the sky. It is so clear as like most of the light from the city is encapsulated in the fjord, but up here up top it's dark. It's you can see, you know, stars and planets and various things up in the sky. You you walk and it's a little slow going. You're not as used to being in this ice and snow, but you make your way pretty easily to a frozen lake. And as you continue across, you are told about this lake. And as you come to the center of this lake, you see that there is an elk just frozen in the lake, half like half decomposed, but the antlers and body have been like various like herbs and charms and implements have been put around this elk. And you see that written in there are things written in basically giant script uh on these things, on these various implements.
Hmm. No idea what that means. Hey, Sylvia, do you speak giant?
I do. um Let me take a look here. uh mm, these are various prayers, maybe, um to a god, Wergun.
Working.
Yes.
Yeah, that is
Thinking.
close to Vegas. You're right. Huh.
Yes. Seeing this, yeah, Wergus, it would be an older form of Vergus, same root.
Ah.
This is a newer giant tongue kind of transliteration of the names. Same god, and clearly a different practice than we see in the in either the kingdoms of the elves or the kingdoms of man, but
Uh,
same god of
uh,
death.
yeah. Interesting. just beyond anything else, they probably have different gourds up here than we see. Oh yeah, Sylvie, did you know that Virgus always appears with some sort of gourd for a head?
That is usually what is built into the effigies. Um, Pumpkins are a popular choice.
I've
Though,
seen I don't think I've seen him with a pumpkin head yet. Interestingly.
yes. I know the ritual in Zarkans to put a large pumpkin on the head of the effigy.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Maybe I miss. Did you said you seen him with it? Have you met the god Virgus?
Yeah, we've had a couple encounters. Yeah,
Oh,
one may have just been a dream, though, to be fair, but one definitely happened.
interesting. If you would not mind acting as a primary source to add to the collection that I have, I would love
Yeah,
to hear your oral history of the situation.
sure, of course. And I start by laying out what happened uh when I first saw him in that dream state when I fell asleep on top of the roof. Or at least that's what she kind of thinks happened. And then also lays out what happened the entirety of the vampire story because she realizes that Sylvia was put away for that.
Yeah, you didn't have Sylvia yet.
Oh, I didn't have Sylvia. Right.
Yep. Oh, this is all very interesting. And like Sylvia's just like a glass orb that glows when she talks. And she's just been kind of bobbing along with you, kind of looking and observing. And she says, absolutely fascinating. There are many stories of people who have contacted various gods. Some turn out better than others. It sounds like you had a pleasant experience.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, maybe not the
it's
whole heart ripping thing. That might be a negative
that
experience.
it was on the extreme side of things for sure. But you know, that's about the only way he could take care of that situation, I'm guessing. So makes sense.
In just in being present for this interaction, if she wanted, Grief would also recount their experience that they had with the Virgus vision.
Yeah, she would float over to you and like ask to hear about it. Did you
Yeah,
all have visions of Virgus?
there was one night where all of us that were together that night all had a vision of him. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it was tied into the celebration of Virgus. That was, I think, important.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like the
Yeah.
veil was just thin enough.
Interesting.
I joined the group after that, but before the vampire thing.
Very interesting.
Just in time for the most exciting part.
How's those neck wounds doing? Are those healed yet?
Um, yeah, they're not full divots at the moment. Haven't taken the chance to look at the mirror, but yeah, they're mostly gone.
Yeah, mirror. Yeah. Fen will pull out a mirror and shine it and leave it in Torsten's face. Just be like, is there a reflection there?
That's what the itchiness was. Huh. Yeah. Okay, there's still a bit of a mark. Probably gonna. Yeah, deep enough to draw blood. Probably gonna scar, but not. Yeah,
That's
not
At least you have a cool story to tell.
exactly.
Yep. And luckily it's the story you can tell. That's the other good
Hmm.
news.
And most of the witnesses are still alive.
True. True. Uh all right, I think we've spent enough time outside here. Should we knock?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you come to a what this dwelling seems to be like made of like built up earth that's like built into a mound. Snow has covered it. There are openings where like windows have been put in. But what really gives it away that it is a dwelling is that there is smoke billowing from the top of it. And it's
Ah.
easily like 10 feet high. It's enough for like a very large person to stand inside of it.
Oh, okay. That's don't know what I was picturing, but it's a big dwelling. Yeah. Finn's gonna knock on the door.
You knock on the door and the door opens and a giant folk woman, like wearing some sort of crown with like antlers on it, pokes her head out. Her various like tattered robes that are all layered on each other kind of just billow forth from inside. And she looks at you and says, "Do you need something, my friends?"
Greetings. There was a dwarf that suggested we should seek your guidance for a upcoming trip.
Mm, please come inside, get warm. And she will like duck her head and go back inside, leaving the door open. And the inside is lit by a central fire in a pit, this kind of circular dwelling. Um, there's not much in the way of furniture here. There's a few like low tables and everything. Well, low for her, as you see that she is probably 8 feet tall. And standing in here, the antlers kind of scrape in places on the dwelling, and she kind of sits, and there are like pelts covering the entire floor here. Um, and she gestures for you to sit, and she'll sit down on the floor next to the fire. You
Thank you.
come to seek the blessing of Wergen.
Yes, that seems, yeah. Finn's
That
gonna look over to Torsten.
yes, that was I've been told that is a good precaution to take. We're journeying to Winter's Keep, the more direct way.
To walk the wastes is to walk alongside Wergen. Death is always close on the snow and plains.
Hmm.
She will grab, so there's like various herbs and things hanging in here. There are bottles and like sacks of things. She'll grab a sack and she will pour it out onto the floor in front of her. And you see that they are bones of some kind with various giant runes placed, kind of scrawled on them. And she says, "But you already know him, don't you?"
Yeah, I would say that I we have a familiarity with Worgen. Uh, Finn's going to just bring out her symbol just a little to the exterior of her clothing.
"You from the warm places where he draws at the end of a harvest. Here he walks among us.
Mm, yes.
What an auspicious time to meet another follower. But death doesn't cling as close to you as it does you." And like she looks to you, Grief. "Why are you searching for death?
I've lost people.
What do you hope to find if you see his door?"
Well, I mean, right now we're just trying to get somewhere without dying.
I'm sorry. I muse too much. Yes, I shall make you talismans. Do you have something to offer?
Ben's gonna search through her stuff. See, Fergus likes gourd type things. I'm not seeing anything in my inventory. Oh boy. Uh,
I mean,
I-
coin is always an option,
True.
presumably.
Torsten will take out a spare hammer.
Mhm.
Merlin will offer dust of the mummy.
Oh,
Oh, interesting. She takes it from you, Merlin. She looks at it and she says, "This is very precious indeed." And she will hand you a, it's small in her hands, but it's rather large in yours. Something made out of like probably like a moose's antler or something, carved, and it is a it's just the skeletal head of a moose. Take it. It will keep you safe on the long journey.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
And each of these she has multiples of these, and they all have different like runes inscribed in them. Um and she will give you each one, and you can offer anything you would like. Coin is of course appreciated, as you get the sense that she's the local priestess, you know.
hmm. Uh, yeah, I think I probably should have planned a better offering, but all I've got is some coin right now. Nothing logical. So,
Coin brings bread to me, and I bring blessings to those who seek. It is a offering that Worgen appreciates.
I'm gonna drop 5 gold pieces.
You are very kind, my sister.
We
Grateful
appreciate.
throw in 10 gold, and we'll also take a moment to use the what is it called? The Illuminator's tattoo. Because I can write something that's invisible to only the person I address it to. And I will lay out a bit more of the details of my story and why I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do, and hand that to her to do with what she wants with it.
You give this to her, and she looks at it. She gently picks up your hand, which she has a very large hand, and kind of picks it up. She flips it over and starts tracing on your hand the various lines and things. You have a longer journey yet. I hope you find your peace. And when this journey ends, and she traces a line, when this journey is done, come back here.
Thank you.
Now go. I must sleep. And she stands up to her full height.
Mm, of course, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, Torsten will make his way out.
And she'll come to the door and she says, "May Wergus stray far from you on your journey."
And with your spirit.
And she will kind of chuckle, and she'll close her door. And with that, I think we'll call it for tonight.
That is a little creepy.
Mhm.
As you have gained blessing from a witch. Yeah, thank you all for joining in. Let's go ahead and do our outros. We'll start with you, Silver.
Hi, everybody. I am Silver_Bulette here on Twitch as well as over on YouTube. Every other Monday, we run Capes and Caverns via my Silver_Bulette channel. That is a superhero overlay for Dungeons and Dragons that I wrote. And we are currently playtesting. If you want to see the old content of it, go over to the YouTube channel. You'll find all of Season 1. And then also I have a words podcast called All the Web's a Stage, which is a short play podcast. It'll take up about 20 minutes of your time in episodic chunks, and you'll get to enjoy some personally written scripts, some new scripts you've never heard before that are only like 5 minutes long. So yeah, enjoy that.
Awesome. Levi.
Hello, I am Levi. You can find me here as normal. You can also find me on twitch.tv/otherdoc on Tuesday the 30th in the Night of the Colossal Desert Creatures, a one shot of It Came from the Late Late Show. We are playing actors and also their characters in a older B movie. My actor is playing the scientist, and his best combat ability is sword.
Excellent. Tara.
Hello, I am Tara, and you can find me here most Sundays at 7 p.m. PST. Thank you.
Sweet. Soliloquy.
Hey, I'm Soliloquy Jaden. You can find me everywhere online as Fat Sapphic Bro. I mostly hang out on TikTok and make a variety of content, so feel free to come hang out with me if you'd like. As for streaming, I'm here on Twitch most Sundays, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m., most Mondays, 3 to 6 p.m., and Tuesdays, 6 to 9 p.m., all PST. Thanks.
And of course, I am Archangelic. I have been your game master. You can find me here Sunday nights at 7:30 Pacific, running this game for these wonderful people here. Thank you, wonderful people, for being here. You can find many links for me on my website, archangelic.space. I am also breaking into professional GMing on startplaying.games. If you are interested in having me GM a game for you, check me out. startplaying.games/GM/archangelic. If you've missed any of our games, you can check them out on YouTube. The link is in the chat, the link tree. And it's also in the channel description. We also have a podcast version of this game. You can search up Era of the Dragons wherever you can find great podcasts. If you want to support, actually, we're going to go into our after show, which will be posted on our Patreon. The after show will always be free, but we appreciate any support on our Patreon that you would like to give. And lastly, thank you, Polygeist, for helping us stream this show. We all appreciate you. We could not do it without you. Thank you all again for tuning in. We love you, and we hope to see you next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Goodbye.